Hey guys, it's Professor Ken here again. Today I'm going to show you some of my American Flyer trains. Most of them, as a matter of fact. I only have a few. Now you might be thinking American Flyer, that's the S-gauge trains with the two-rail track from the 1950s, right? Well, not exactly. During the pre-war period, which is before World War II, pre-World War II, they actually made O-gauge trains just like Lionel. They were Lionel's main competitor during the 1930s. And I have two engines I'm going to be showing off today. One is this steam engine here. I also have this electric engine here I'm going to get to in a minute. But first I'm going to start by talking about the steamer. This is an American Flyer called a Type 8 steam engine. As you can see, this one's kind of interesting because it's from the mid or late 30s, and it has a die-cast boiler, but it still has the brass trim and gaudy details of a tin plate engine. It's kind of it's one of the transitionary pieces, right when die-cast boilers were starting to come into vogue, but before all those brassy tin plate details came into the picture. The tender I have with this thing is not the right tender for the engine. It's just an oddball I acquired my travels. The cars that go with this, these are illuminated American Flyer O-gauge cars. They have a very interesting roller mechanism on the bottom that's pretty unique. These particular ones are restored, although they're restored to factory spec, I believe. Not my restoration, unlike most of the restorations I have in my collection. But yeah, these are pretty nice. They would have normally come with an electric locomotive, but I have this steam engine this is the engine that's strong enough to pull them. It's actually a pretty good motor in there. The wheels aren't too swollen. A lot of these engines are damaged by either the ravages of time or the zinc compound the boiler is made of, or the wheels are also made of that, crumbles. So, pretty nice engine. There's a lever here. If you pull it out, engine goes in reverse. Push it in, engine goes forward. It's a manual reverse. Now, the other engine, which is the electric in the back here, this one here is not an original American Flyer. This is one that I made. I'm just going to pull this one over a little bit so you can see it a little better. It's based off of a 3113 Bluebird. This is I believe this is called a Type 8 engine. It doesn't have a numerical designation that I remember. My guidebook doesn't list one anyways. But this one here I actually made from a Bluebird. This is my Blackbird. The original was an 040 electric. The one I had was in really bad shape. The lithography was shot up. But I added front and rear trucks. I added some extra details, like I replaced the headlamp here. That's a working headlamp. So that's probably enough of an introduction to these. I'm going to run them for you. So let me just put this camera down here. Adjust there. Turn on the trusty Z4K. I'm going to start by running the Type 8. Drawing about 2.5 amps as it takes off with the cars. As you can see a bit of a glow off the observation as it goes by. The observation has a red light in the rear. It's a common detail for high-end passenger cars and O-gauge. Some of the Marx cars had that actually. I just oiled this engine. Runs pretty nice. Let me just move this out of the way here now. I'm kind of going to be running this one here, the other one a little backwards, because, well, I'll start by running it in this direction so you can see it. The cars, by the way, the cars that are behind that those are Lionel cars I restored. I don't have a second set of coaches for this. It's too small to pull these big guys, but these are the only American Flyer pre-war cars that I have, so kind of make do. But as you can see, the light bulb works. That draws about 3 amps of current as it runs with those cars. So, runs pretty well though. About 30 hours of work went into restoring that one. It was one of my first restorations, but runs pretty nice. It took me, half that time was just getting the trucks right. I went through those front trucks. I went through 3 different iterations. You can actually see in the front that there's a little hole here. I was intending to have the coupler through there, but I couldn't make it work, so I put them on top. Well, yeah, that's pretty much the entirety of my American Flyer collection. Hope you enjoyed seeing it, and I'll see you again soon on my next installment. Thanks and bye.